Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, people. Hello and welcome to Footy Judge More, people. Welcome to another stream. Welcome to the channel. Thank you everyone for the support. Appreciate everyone that likes the video, share a video, subscribe to the channel, turn on notification bell. Is this actually an emergency for Chelsea? Maybe. Probably yes. There's a divide in opinions in this world about Chelsea. That's why we have this show for you. There's a lot of people that criticize the over positive. There is a lot of people that criticize the. I never call someone negative and I never call someone positive. I just look at someone to be maybe someone that sees things different. I always see things different than other content creators out there. I'm called sometimes a negative or an overreactionary. But here, we have to have this conversation about Chelsea, because actually the reality is, as good as Chelsea have been for all this, oh my God, we are fantastic, what amazing, you're 3 points above the mighty Manchester United. That's the reality, right? Did you go to Anfield and lose? Yes. Did you perform well? Yes. Is your manager proud of a loss? Maybe. That's what he said, that I'm proud despite the loss. I want to hear your opinion. I want to hear what you guys think. Hit that like button if you're watching this now. If you're watching this on the replay, hit that like button. Both these guys' channels are in the description, of course. I got Dan here, who has been consistent with work, as he promised. Very, very good in terms of like work ethics, Dan. And Ahmed, who is ruthless. Watch-alongs, shows daily, always on his channel. Fantastic, fantastic work from Ahmed, of course. And then, of course, the channel is in the description. Go and give these guys a subscription, guys, if you yet to do so. How is everyone doing? Hit that like button, as Aaron is saying. And thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. Someone is playing something in the background. I don't know what it is. Might be me.
No,
No.
in the background of me, yeah.
All right, I'll find it.
Okay.
I'll find it. Well, big up everybody. Thank you for the support, my friend. Appreciate your first super chat for that channel. Appreciate you so much. What are we talking about, people? Where do we start? Do we start with Maresca praising the team after a loss? Or where do we start? How good has Maresca been? Ahmed start. Go ahead, Ahmed.
We might as well. I think if you want to start, obviously, what Maresca said in his post-match press conference, I kind of understood what he meant in the sense that I think performance-wise, yes, we did perform, I think, well, but we didn't get the result that we needed. That's pretty much it. You know what I mean? And I think you can be happy about our performance, right? But the reality is, you also need to, you should also be disappointed about the result that you get. You know, and then this is Chelsea. You need to be expected to get to get a win. I think, if we had gone a draw at Anfield, I don't think, his comments maybe would, even though they are slightly being taken out of context, wouldn't be taken out of context as much, in my personal opinion.
I'm looking at this. Then you were a little bit critical of the performance, a little bit of what happened in the game, a little bit critical.
Yeah, a few things I think were just frustrating that they ended up being issues when I think they could have been eradicated maybe at half time. I think the way we conceded that Curtis Jones goal was disappointing because I don't think that was the first time he made that run. And I think the rashness and sort of lack of calmness that the defence had for the majority of, like, I'd say at least 60 minutes of that game ended up leading to an eventual mistake that led to a penalty. And there were a couple of shouts around penalties and potential decisions that were and weren't. Yeah, it's a good performance, I think, for a young, inexperienced team going to Anfield in moments, is what I would say. I can see why Maresca can be proud of it, because I think for some of it there were some good moments, but I can also sort of hold our standards as Chelsea Football Club and say that if you want to be finishing in the top four, you to not win that game, or at least draw it, when I think Liverpool weren't as good as what we've seen them be, is just a little bit frustrating. But I don't want to bring it down too much, because I actually think they were really brave. It's because like last year we went there with even less experience and we crumbled. So the fact that we were in the game, we can discuss afterwards the fact that we were this close to getting a draw. I think that's a positive to take. That's probably the biggest positive to take from that game.
The quality, the problem is the experience is different between Liverpool and Chelsea. Massive difference, in my opinion. Some of your players didn't show up, which is the most important player, which is Cole Palmer, didn't show up completely in this game. He was anonymous. He had a couple of chances, one over the bar and one he waited too long to shoot and Szoboszlai blocked him. But other than this, he was non-existent, to be honest. I'm going to ask the question, do we think after all of this hype of Chelsea, that everyone is talking about Chelsea, right? If Chelsea don't get top four at the end and don't get Champions League, is that a disappointment for people? Is that going to be failure this season? Because in my opinion, I believe if Pochettino stayed, you like him, you hate him, I believe the team would have gotten better than last season. And you might have been closer to top four. Looking at it now, it looks like you're on course to top four. I think you're going to get top four. However, likes of Villa are flying. They're playing very, very well. And also, we keep saying performances. Drew Nottingham Forest, lost to Liverpool, lost to Man City, drew to Crystal Palace at home. These are not good results, by the way, because you lost to Man City at home. It's not away. You drew to Crystal Palace at home. If results like this continue, I believe there will be a little bit of okay, we could have won these games and made top four. All this praise and hype. That is what I think. Ahmed, but are you still in the top six thing?
I don't think so anymore. I do think we can get top four. I think the chances of us getting top four have increased a lot more. I think the point you're making. I think I would have agreed with it, but I think the difference is I think it is the beginning phase of the league, right? And I think part of that is also, you need to give Maresca that time and ability to understand his players, allow him to make 1 or 2 mistakes. You're facing 2 of the best teams in the league. We're currently sadly not on that level, right? But it's about also him learning from those experiences, and also again the draw against Forest, the draw against Crystal Palace, right? Those are what I would like to think are blip on the rest compared to some of the other fixtures that we've seen. And so for me, I'm just saying, moving forward, you now got Newcastle coming up next. That's the sort of fixture where you can get back on track, if that makes sense anyway. So, and like also, Aston Villa's flying high, but we're only still, again, if I'm not mistaken, 2 or 3 points behind them. So it's not like we're losing.
Well, you're
pack.
2 points behind them, but you are 3 points above Man United. You lose to Newcastle, Man United.
But
win.
again, but that's
you're
the
never
point.
gonna go behind them.
No, but the point.
But
The point I'm trying to make is that it's still really early in the league. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Still, the difference.
Do you think there's overpraise of Chelsea now at the current moment?
I wouldn't say so, honestly. I think, again, whenever you hear Chelsea, we always get talked about, I think, our attack, sometimes about the improvement, particularly in the midfield. But I do think there's a lot of people are quite critical of our defense, in my personal opinion. So I think there's a bit of a balance, I would say, more so than anything else.
To be honest with you, I'm looking at it. I'm telling you what is going to happen. In the next game, if Newcastle win, you're playing Newcastle away. Am I not mistaken?
No,
you're playing Newcastle at home.
Then it's away.
You draw Newcastle. If Spurs win away at Crystal Palace, they go ahead of you. I don't believe Nottingham Forest are going to win. They might win against Leicester. They play tomorrow. They play Friday. You might be behind them. My problem is everyone wants to praise Chelsea, and they want me to praise Chelsea massively. You get my point? And I've been very complimentary of the way you play, the Maresca, unexpected, unpredictable, and all the stuff. Like, I didn't expect Chelsea to be here. However, I sometimes feel that a lot of people want us to go over the top. They want us to be, oh my God, over complimentary. Oh, it's amazing. Everything is great. Well, I look at the game like Liverpool and I'm like, okay, so that still Palmer needs to a little bit find his feet in some of these games in terms of, he affects every game, but he didn't. Curtis Jones looks better than him. Lavia, Caicedo, Gravenberch looks better than him. Even Szoboszlai, with the running around, a couple of blocks affected the game more than him. He was non-existent. And I'm going to say, if Saka had this performance, if Foden had this performance, would have been sitting here having completely different conversations about them. But no, you can't a little bit criticize some of the Chelsea players. You can't. And if you criticize some of the performances, you're like, why do you hate on Chelsea? That's how I feel now it's becoming.
I don't really. I don't see that.
Oh, you know what I'm talking about.
But come on, bro.
Criticize Palmer.
But like, listen, like, for example, I think it's fair to criticize Palmer for his performance. But at the same time, I would also like to think that Maresca will not put him in a position to be in there again in like a big game where you can just literally, in the sense that where you can just get him. He was basically marked out of that game, essentially, Cole Palmer, in the game against Liverpool, right? Because they were able to just basically get him off the ball, control him, and in a sense, and so he was essentially marked out of the game. No,
I don't think so, because Curtis Jones, the one who marked him, scored, bro, and won a penalty and had 2 other chances. So that means he didn't stick to him for 90 minutes.
But if one of his defensive duties is gone, there was still someone there to have the mark of Paul Palmer. So it's not.
Now you're having. We're not going to turn this into. Now you're having the same argument that when people said, "Wait until Cole Palmer is marked with 2 players," he was marked with 1 player and he was non-existent.
No, but
remember that conversation.
But again, same argument. I don't really care. I feel like at the end of the day, listen, he got marked out. That's just the reality of the situation. I think for me, Maresca's smart enough to realize that and then adapt correctively to make sure that doesn't happen. So for me, I don't really mind. And again, I think Dan would agree when I say this, yeah, that again you shouldn't just be relying on one player. There's other players in the team, Madueke, Jackson, other guys need to be stepping up. It shouldn't just be we need to rely on one primary ball handler. Simple as that, really.
Yeah, I think that was probably the biggest issue we had last year, was that it felt as if we were a Cole Palmer FC. I feel like Maresca's removed that a little bit with the form of Madueke. I mean, Jackson's in fantastic form. I just think actually during the game, it's important to realise where you're getting success. And I felt like Madueke had the beating of Robertson every single time he faced him up. And I don't think we actually got him the ball enough and focused our play down that side. I understand that if you play out to the left, you can create space on the right and work the ball round. But at the same time, we sort of dwelled with it a little bit on the left and didn't do it quick enough.
Exactly.
You thought Palmer should have been subbed off?
Me?
Then. Yeah.
No, I don't think you could. I think
Not
Cole
you.
Palmer's done so much now that you can never take him off. I can understand the shout when a player is sort of not in the game to that level. And I think if we were, I don't want to say if we had better players, but I think if you're at the likes of Manchester City and you can bring on a £100 million player in Jack Grealish, who you know might get you something called Phil Foden can replace Bernardo Silva, you know, that level, right? I don't think we're bringing on someone of the equivalent ability of Cole Palmer. If we had that in the locker, then maybe. I think the biggest thing for me was that whatever was happening with Cole Palmer in that game wasn't leading to success. He had one or two moments where he managed to find space. Maybe he could have done better with a shot. Who knows? But I actually think Maresca should have probably worked a way to get him into the game more or change his position, see if that changes things up when he made those subs. Because I felt for me, we were having success from wide areas and the Nkunku substitution killed that on the left-hand side. And I think for all Chelsea fans, we can probably all agree that Nkunku is far better when he's allowed to be central on the pitch rather than shoved out on a wing or a wide area. And I just don't really think that was a substitution I would have made. I actually think Maresca's substitutions in that game weren't perfect. I think half of them were actually substitutions that had to happen because of players being managed for injuries, which kind of forced his hand. But yeah, it sounds like it's negative on that, but it's not Maresca's fault that Cole Palmer puts it over the bar, and it's not Maresca's fault that actually Cole Palmer didn't go and find space on the football pitch. It's down to both of them to work it out. That's why he's getting paid the money to be a coach, and it's why Cole Palmer got a new contract.
Yeah, and I would also like to add, I think also like when you're losing your starting left back in Kukurea, you've lost your starting right back in Fofana as well due to suspension. It doesn't make your life easier if that makes sense. So, and Tosin wasn't great if we're being honest. Like, and Reece James starting for the first time in the league as well wasn't you know what I mean, it doesn't provide a conducive environment. Is what I'm trying to say. So.
You know what I didn't understand? Colwell didn't look great, and he chose to keep Colwell on the pitch and sub Tosin out. And Colwell almost gave away another penalty and made a mistake. That is what I didn't understand in the game. Because
you know why he did that?
Worse than Tosin, actually.
Do you know why? I think the reason why he did that, in my personal opinion, is that I think he wanted this to be a learning lesson for Levi Cole. Because I think if we want to believe that Levi Cole was going to be, this guy that's going to be a starting centre back for the medium to long term for Chelsea, he's got to go through these high and low moments. You know what I mean? And I think for me, he needed that. You know what I mean? He needed to learn from those errors and take that type of game on the chin, for me personally. So I think that's what it really came down to.
Guys, let's get the like button. Guys, hit that like button. Let's get to 100 likes, guys. You guys are slacking in the likes. Hit that like button, people. Hit that like button, people. In the future, which players do you guys think that will be the starters for Chelsea? I kept asking myself this question yesterday. Which players do you think in the future will become next season? You're in the Champions League. Which players do you guys think will start for Chelsea? Do you know I asked this question because I thought a lot of people say Madueke can be good, but he's not the future starter. Do you think Sancho can be there? Not yet. Jackson, but not yet. Do you think Lavia and Caicedo on Palmer? Yes. Do you say Fofana, maybe we need a better? So like 5. Do you need 5 starters?
I think I don't think we're gonna buy 5 stars. I think there's gonna be. I think I could see. I think a striker more than likely is gonna come in, whether we like it or not. Maybe unless like Jackson goes on to have like a 20 league goal season, which I still don't see happening in my personal opinion. But we still need a striker anyway, regardless of what Jackson does, because the only backup we've got right now is what's his name? I forgot his name. Mark Gui. Literally, is his backup right now. Like, we don't actually have another archetype other than Jackson. So I think for me, we probably need to bring in one. I think Madueke is an interesting on the right wing because we are getting in that the young kid Estevao. I don't think we're gonna sign another right winger. I think Madueke is gonna stay again next season, so it wouldn't surprise me. Left wing, you've got a Neto already, you got Fingy already. I don't think they're gonna actively buy again in that realm, but I could see another centre back coming in. I think a goalkeeper more than likely probably will come in next season. Yeah, unless
Centre back.
Yeah, centre back. Yeah, goalkeeper and centre back. I think for me, probably those.
None of your wingers are actually. Sam always says that none of your wingers are actually a goal scoring winger. A big deal. You guys notice that?
I think Madueke
None.
probably. I think maybe Madueke. I think Madueke because he essentially whenever he gets the ball, if he's not like trying to put the cross in, he usually tries to shoot the on first go to cut inside and shoot. So I would probably say he's more so a goal scoring winger. I don't know about you, Mo.
Sancho. For me, I think you need a goal scoring winger. Someone who will get you goals, right? I didn't like the Sancho signing for Chelsea. I thought Neto is good, but I thought you need another. It's either you need a striker, a clinical one, like an actual one that is not, that we don't. Okay, so here's the thing. Do you guys sit here and always praise Jackson for the everything away from the goal scoring? Everyone sit and say his hold-up play or his turns, running behind. You never actually praise him for the goal scoring ability.
You know, unironically,
which player do you have that you praise and say, "Oh, this guy gets the GA, this guy gets the"?
You know what it is though, Mo, with Jackson. Actually, I think this is a good point. I actually think this season, rather than the Crystal Palace game where that was absolutely howler, the chances he's missed, I would actually argue he's probably been quite clinical whenever he's been given a chance. I don't know about you, Dan, but like from what I've seen, barring the Crystal Palace game, he's been relatively clinical as a striker. We know with the chances that he's received. And even then, in Cuckoo, you still got Cuckoo whenever he usually plays.
But your coach is not even relying on him, which is ridiculous.
I hear that, but like at the same time, you know, he's someone that can give you GA if that makes sense. Madueke, if he gets into the right opportunity, usually like I think 1 out of 3 times usually.
Do you think Madueke is going to be a 20 goals winger ever?
I don't need him to be a 20 goals winger though. I don't think.
But that's the whole point. Is either you get a striker that will get you 20 plus goals, or you get a winger.
But the thing is, you already got Palmer there, right? You know, who can probably get you 20 goals. The striker right now that you've got.
Palmer FC.
Wait.
You're not beating the allegations, bro.
Wait. But the point I'm trying to make is that the striker you've got, bro, in Jackson has got us 14 goals last season, right? So you know he's only 6, and I think he can improve, and we can probably bring in a clinical striker, which is something I've said already. You've now got Nkuku there as well, who can come off the bench and provide you GNA. So the reality is, like, I think we've got a good amount, in my personal opinion, guys that can add to the team. So I don't really feel like it's a matter of we need more people, at least this season.
Jackson, I hear it this season. He has had 6 big chances, scored 5.
Yeah,
or 7. He had 7 big chances, scored 5. So that's a good return, to be honest.
I think he's missed 5 big chances as well.
He missed 5 or missed 2?
No, 5.
I think it was a Brighton game, wasn't it? That's the one where he missed a few.
I think he's missed 5 big chances. I was looking at his stats the other day, and I think
it was the Crystal Palace was the bad one. Yeah, it was the Crystal Palace game.
Do you know, guys, what the problem is?
Yeah.
Let's see if I can find it.
This Chelsea team, I'll find it then. This Chelsea team, you look at it. If the owners did the business in the summer and got an Osimhen, I believe you would have had a different talk. Completely different talk. Or instead of a Sancho loan, you have gotten a goal-scoring winger. Spend the money, get that goal-scoring winger. That is the problem. That is my opinion. The thing about it is that my opinion might be right. I don't want to be right at the end of the season. Might be right at the end of the season. If you miss out on top 4 because of this. If you miss out on top 4 because of this. Because Palmer gets marked out the games, you don't have somebody else to step up and get you the goals, and you don't go in January and get the needed players. I'm still thinking that in January you need to go out and break the bank and get Osimhen, to be honest.
I just don't think we're Palmer FC anymore. I think, yes, like for example, in this game, for example, the guy that created the goal for us was Caicedo, and he's the so like it's not just I think for me we're just Palmer. There's guys that are now creating the team that are not including the main guy right now in the team. So I think obviously bringing a striker, whether it be Osimhen, whether it be whoever you want it to be, I think we have to wait and see actually, because I don't think right now Chelsea's issue is actually a goal scoring issue.
You have a massive issue, which is the leadership at the back, which is they didn't want to spend the money.
That's something that I've said before. Remember, I said to you before, our issue is not scoring goals anymore. Like, I know it's crazy to say. Maybe this time last season we were crying our eyes out because he couldn't score goals, but like genuinely, like we don't have an issue scoring goals. I think our issue is defensive, right? And the problem is like, whilst we still have some of these defenders, whether it be people, Disasi, Badi, Shaw, all these guys, right, and you can't move them on, right? You can't bring in someone else because you've got too many defenders as it is right now in the squad. So it has to be like a one in, one out policy.
He missed 5 chances. I checked then. He missed 5 chances.
Yeah.
Him, Cole Palmer. The thing about Jackson is that I think he has PR behind him. Chelsea owners might cave. Bro, since the John Obi Mikel video, his PR is crazy, actually. I'm from outside and I'm telling you, you guys don't see it. There is big PR behind Jackson pushing him to be, you don't need a striker. He's good enough. He will be good enough. I mean, a lot of people say on social media and say that. A lot of pundits have started, you want to take a dig at John Obi Mikel for what he said. As
But I think
you're scoring a point of being right. You know what I mean? Well, anyone can see, right, that if Chelsea get, I'm just going to, simple, you win the Crystal Palace game if you have a clinical striker. You might get a point against City if you had a clinical striker, because there was a couple of chances that fell for your striker before they get the second goal, right? You might win the Nottingham Forest game. I actually say, if Nkunku started and we watched at Bournemouth, when Nkunku gets 1 chance in front of the goal or 2 chances, the guy is more clinical than Jackson. If you have Nkunku starting more, I believe now it is becoming a little bit of, I don't know the word, I lost the word. He's stubborn of playing Jackson. Bro, Nkunku is your more clinical guy up top. Just play the guy, bro. Just
I
give
think
him
you
a
make
shot.
a good point, Mo, with how clinical Nkunku can be. And I probably would go with that. I think Nkunku probably does look like a more clinical striker. The thing is, with Nkunku, for me, if he plays in Jackson's role as a lone striker, I actually don't see him getting half the opportunities that Jackson has worked for himself or gets, because that goal that Jackson got against Liverpool, I don't see Nkunku even making that run when he's had moments as a number 9 for Chelsea. Nkunku has looked okay in some games in the Premier League, but nothing to really write home about. I feel like Nkunku has looked better when there's been an attacker around him and they've been on the pitch at a similar time. Obviously, against Barrow, he got a hat-trick, and you can't knock the fact he scored goals when he's been up front this season. But I do wonder whether or not he'd have the same output as Jackson this season, because I feel like Jackson's worked a lot of his chances through his desire and his work rate and his ability to get the ball on the halfway line, hold it up, turn a man. I feel like he's improving, and he had 2 chances against Liverpool, from what I remember. He scored one and hit the post with the other, or the crossbar, or maybe like it was.
He was one of your best players.
Yeah.
Is he one of our best players?
He was one of your best players in this game.
Yeah, I
100%. Yeah, 100%.
I think this time last year, like I had said, we were sort of like, is this guy going to be good enough? But I think it's been a straight upwards trajectory with a couple of hiccups on the way. Other than that, I think there's definite improvement. He's still only 23. We signed Drogba at 23, and he was not the finished article. I believe actually maybe yes, we do need another striker, because I'm not sure Nkunku is an out and out 9, and I don't think Mark Guy is good enough to fill in that gap. If anything was to happen to Jackson, or next season if he's still at the club and he goes to AFCON, I don't know if it is next year, but like, you do need someone to be able to step in, and as a top club, you need, like City are moaning that they don't have a replacement to Haaland. The guy scores like 40 goals a season in all comps. So I think potentially Chelsea need to identify a striker that's good enough, and maybe in a different mould to Jackson. But at the same time, there are more pressing issues for Chelsea to recruit in some areas than where Jackson's scoring goals. I think
Let me do
Chelsea don't stand a chance unless they replace their goal.
Before you go to the super chat, bro, I'm just gonna say one quick thing. I think again, we just need another.
I thought you were gonna
bro.
pick up HUSAM, but fine, because he picked you up, but
Bro,
fine.
that's secondary.
Bro,
But like,
completely ignored the guy, bro. He
I want to
completely
just
ignored
him.
him.
I didn't understand. No. But like, honestly, yeah, I was actually gonna say quickly. I just think we need another archetype. You know, again, if you look at like the other type of strikers we're looking for, Osimhen, Duran, Omarion, they're clearly a lot more bigger than Jackson. You know, they have better heading ability than him. That's just a different archetype that we just need in general. You know what I mean? So that's what it just comes out to. Big up your time, bro. Big up, man. That's all. That's all I wanted to say in regards to
You got called out, bro. You're called out. Guys, let's get 100 likes. Guys, it's a slow build up. Come on, hit that like button, people. Come on, let's get 100 likes, people. Hit that like button. I know what Ahmed is saying here. Big up Ahmed Habibi from Egypt. Jackson grows since La Liga, playing winger. Then first season in the Premier League, scoring 14 goals. Then this season, would you not believe he could be the man? The question for the panel, not for me. And I'm just going to ask, see, Ahmed, you say about PR? You're part of the PR. Do you know what the problem with this is? I don't mind this question. I don't mind this question. I don't mind it. But the problem is, when people start hearing this over, like when people say on Sky or people say on NBC here in America, or people say everywhere in the world, and they start asking this question, right? I swear to God, I've seen this question. And Ahmed, I hear you about this, Jackson. I want the people in the chat to answer this, right? This is what a PR means. You guys, Dan and Ahmed, you guys get my point. When you say, when we as fans, or you guys, me as a neutral, start sitting and this question keeps playing in our heads, we think about maybe Chelsea don't need a striker. Maybe Jackson is the man. That is what I call a PR. You know what I mean?
But can I ask you a question, Mo? Yeah. Do you know? Listen, I'm pretty sure you remember last season, even the beginning of the season, like but the strikers he's been compared to, for example, yeah, whether it be a Darwin Núñez, whether it be Hugh is another one that he's been compared to quite often. That's like not a great striker. Xerxes, a bunch of
Havertz. It was compared to Højlund, Havertz.
Yeah, all these guys, yeah, and like like when you actually watch him and compare him to a lot of these guys, like he's been kind of been getting cooked for so long.
Ahmed is saying in the chat, it's not PR. I don't think you understand what I mean by PR.
But do you not think it's a balance though? Like that's what I'm trying to say, man.
Absolutely, 100%.
The skills are getting balanced.
Hold on. I don't think you guys understand what I mean by PR. I believe this is a possibility, which is why Ahmed backed it with stats. Yeah, he has already AGA this season in 8 games, even though he had bad games. That's actually a good sign. That's a good return. When you have bad games, exactly, right? The thing about this is that this is what I mean, a PR. That means you're highlighting the positives. You're sitting there and saying, you're improving. He's improving. You know what I mean? So I get it. It's not a fake PR. It's not a fake PR. It's not a fake campaign. You get my point?
I get what you mean.
So what are the clear negatives with Jackson now? Because I actually believe some have been removed from his game.
Exactly.
So what if we look at Jackson's standout, like in this Chelsea team in terms of scoring goals this season? I don't see too many issues. I think, look, there's a couple of laps in concentration. There's a couple of opportunities, or there's a couple of games that have gone by, like the Liverpool game where, look, he did have a couple of chances, but other than that, he was maybe a little bit quiet. But, I mean, what do you expect him to do when you look at Liverpool's back line? There's not exactly a lot of space for him to operate in, and he's against the best centre-back in the world and Konate. So unless you get him out of position, dropping deep or drifting out.
Someone tell us. I want to hear the chat's opinion as well. This is a very good question.
The chat is saying that he's a hothead, which I think is actually a good point.
I'd agree with that. But we're discussing his footballing ability, and some of the best players ever have hotheads. Luis Suarez springs to mind as a player that is one of the most lethal strikers that we've ever seen, and he wasn't calm. So yeah, you have to channel that aggression in the right way. Drogba obviously got sent off in huge games for Chelsea as well. So I'm not sure what the issue is with Jackson. It's just whether or not he can continue in this current form that he's in, because we've seen him be at slightly worse form, and it was a bit of an issue when we weren't able to score from other areas. I just wonder, if you say you get the top 6 of the Prem, what teams does he start for, or like the big clubs? Because United obviously aren't in the top 6 at the moment. Does he start for Newcastle? I'm not
No.
sure because Isak probably
They
starts.
already got
Does he
Isak,
start-
yeah.
Does he start for Spurs or does Solanke play?
Okay, is
Solanke's
Solanke
got
better
20
than
goals.
Jackson, people?
Well, Solanke's, I don't know whether he's better. He's a little bit older and he
He's
has
completely different. And also, he's a
Yeah,
completely
and he
different
has
type
20
of player, right?
Yeah.
20 Premier League goals to his name before Jackson, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But at 23, Solanke was not doing what Jackson was doing.
Yeah.
So that's probably a close one. Does
People
he
in
start
the
for
chat
Manchester?
answer Solanke or Jackson. Just one name only. One damn
Does he
speaking.
start?
Just
Does
answer.
he start for Manchester United?
Yes.
Yes,
What? Absolutely.
course.
Are you talking?
Yeah,
What are you
yeah,
talking?
yeah.
I'm just saying. Does he start for Liverpool?
No.
Oh, I
Jota's
think
better.
potentially he's better than Darwin.
No, I
Nunes.
wouldn't. I wouldn't. Jota's better.
Oh, I'm
for
not
me.
sure. You know,
I think you know
I
that's
think
the
Jota
output
might be.
now.
Oh my God. They're comparing Jackson to Jota
No,
now. And
Jota's
they're
very
calling
good,
me.
but I think Jackson
Oh
could
my
start for
God.
Liverpool.
I think if you were to say Jota in his prime, then no. But I don't know. Against this current version of Jota that you've got after these injuries, I think he's a lot
Bro,
more.
he's not
closer.
injured, bro. He just bruised his ribs, bro. He's bad.
No,
He's not
compared
injured,
to
bro.
I mean,
He's not
after
injured.
no. I said compared to after the injuries he's had. You know what I mean? Like because he's been consistently injured, right?
Great. I don't get that.
I don't know, man. Listen, I think it's a bit more
No, this
more competitive.
Crazy.
That one, listen,
Jackson, I think there's definitely
Yeah.
if Darwin Nunes can get a start for Liverpool, Jackson can get a start for Liverpool.
Mm.
No, but
I
Darwin Nunes
by
can
the
get a
way, I also
start for
think
Liverpool.
if Cody Gakpo can get a start for Liverpool, Jackson could.
Okay,
probably
who's
do a
better, Cody
job.
Gakpo or Jackson,
Jackson,
in your
I
opinion?
think.
People in the chat, Jackson or Cody Gakpo, who's better?
Cody Gakpo for Holland at the Euros is like one of the world's best players. But
And
he ain't
never
doing that.
compare the international form for
Yeah,
a
that's
player.
what I
Bro.
mean.
Never.
Yeah,
Like-
he's
Bro, you can
another one,
have like
that's,
these 6 games of a player that is
Yeah.
amazing.
He's like Jordan Sakiri, man. You know what I mean? Like, you know,
Yeah.
in his play for them, he's cooking. When he's at Liverpool, bro, I don't know what's going on, bro. But I think for me, honestly, I think he's better. I would say in the league, in terms of league form and stuff like that, I would say yes, Jackson.
And then does he start for Arsenal? I mean, Havertz is obviously doing well enough in terms of numbers.
No,
but
Havertz is better now.
Havertz is better now.
I would. I think that
probably in terms of
Guys, the conversion rate
pure
says
numbers,
that.
yeah.
The conversion rate says that.
I think goal
I
scores wise,
actually
though.
think, do you know what Jackson improved? The work ethics. Jackson work ethics now. Because people always said praise Kai Havertz for all of this and working hard. Jackson works really hard now, off the ball as well. And I like that about his game. He improved his game in this aspect. My man here is saying, from Japan, actually, that's Cien. I don't think I ever had anyone. I'm not saying your name, my man. That's very tricky. Another signing for Chelsea. Interesting. Which brings me to the point that we say. Because someone on the football terrace yesterday challenged me and HUSAM, because HUSAM said Chelsea are some signings away from challenging for the league. Right? He said a goalkeeper, striker, centre back. You go to challenge. No, striker or a goal scoring winger. Just ban this Sancho guy, ban Neto. They can sub for Madueke. You need a goal scoring winger like a Kvaratskhelia or someone like that. And someone challenged us from the chat and said, well, Chelsea, after all of this, Chelsea need to spend more money again? Again? Is that a negative thing?
Listen, you know, I sometimes listen, yeah, I don't like to pocket watch, you know what I mean, if that makes sense. But like on a serious note, listen, yes, we spent money, and sometimes, bro, investments work, investments don't work out. But as long as you've got the money to at least bring in more investments, and your investments are becoming much better over time, which is what it's looking like for Chelsea, I'd like to say. The way we've invested so far and some of the players we've gotten and how they've produced in terms of output wise, I don't think that's a problem, honestly. Like, again, at the end of the day, if a club is big enough, they should be able to spend the money to fix the issues they've only created themselves. So I have no issue with that at all.
The problem is if you guys don't guys, can we get the likes of 200 guys? It's over about 250 people here or more. We're not even on 100 likes. The like button is underneath the live chat. Hit that like button. You know what the problem is, to be honest? If you don't make the Champions League, I don't believe you can invest as much. You'll miss out on a lot of money.
I think
that's
also
why it's do or die.
That would be a
season,
big, but that would be a big problem, actually.
This is why this season we have to get top 4. You know what I mean? It's not if but maybe we actually have to get top 4 for UCL reasons. Like we need the UCL this season. So
this is why I was thinking about this. I was thinking even Conference League, if you reach at the end, and you're fighting for top 4, I still think he still should throw the Conference League away
I've said
if that
this.
means he makes top 4.
But that's
As
not
much
This
going to
as
be
notion,
easy,
I
bro.
want a trophy, I want a trophy. The Conference League doesn't add anything to Chelsea's history. It just doesn't.
Yeah,
It
I've
doesn't
said
add
this.
anything.
I think, well, it would, because we would be the only team to have literally won it all.
On every level of Europe, to be honest,
For
yeah.
me, I'd much rather Chelsea be playing in the Champions League and looking like we're capable of fighting on that front. I don't think top 4's a trophy. I'm not going to say that, but Chelsea is a football
expectation.
club.
But it's a very good step, Dan.
Yeah, it's
a
not
very good step.
acceptable. It's not acceptable to be below top 4, in my opinion, for Chelsea, considering where we've put ourselves in the previous 20 years. Under this ownership, maybe they believe that it is, because I think Maresca's proven to look like a good manager. I still think there's some issues that will be eradicated. But if we get to the end of the season and we don't look like we actually improve from last year, or we ultimately don't get top 4, then I think the board and the sporting directors, there'll have to be a focus on them, because they decided Maresca was the man to lead us to top 4. And if we don't do it, I would think there'll be needing to be questions asked. Now, I'm not starting some agenda saying Maresca out, because I actually believe with some very minimal tweaks, we could do it. We're far closer this year than we were last year by quite some way. You know, like, there's a discussion now whether Chelsea are as good as Aston Villa and as good as Spurs in terms of that top 4 race. And I think last year we couldn't even be in that discussion.
Can I go back a little bit? There is a discussion that you can be as good as Spurs. You don't believe that you're as good as Spurs or better. I don't think we've ever discussed this.
Well, I'm not sure really. I just think Tottenham have been in some good, like, look, they didn't start the season very well, and we don't know what consistency looks like under Ange, because he's a guy that's gone through spells, and that's where they get their results. But they do have a good side. I don't know if it's better than Chelsea's, but Tottenham have got every chance of being in and around 4th, 5th place. They did it last year.
I don't think with them. I don't think they have the. I think it's a squad size issue for them, because they've got, obviously, much like how we've got Conference League and EPL, they've got European League and EPL, and I think they've got a smaller squad size than us. So, and that's going to require a lot more first teamers, because, like, compared to us, we're not bringing, like, half the first teams are still in the UK and not in Greece. So, I think with them, that I think it'll probably be something a bit more in regards to how they handle Europe. But I think our team is probably just as good, if not better, than Spurs, in my personal opinion. I think defensively they are better than us. But if I look at it from a midfield and an attack perspective, I think we've got a better midfield and attack than Spurs.
Yeah, I'd hear that. I think you're right. I think Spurs are liable to being exposed as well defensively, but it's not like Chelsea haven't been. We've not been great defensively this season. I think that's probably the biggest issue Maresca needs to address. Is I think we're capable of scoring, and we look deadly at one end of the pitch, but maybe the balance isn't quite right yet. We're a little bit top heavy at times, I think. And
you know what it is though? I think, yes, he can do stuff to obviously do better, obviously defensively, but it's like, how much more can he do when, I feel like Cucurella has been doing particularly that Cucurella has been doing quite a lot of heavy work defensively. I think
Why are we talking about Cucurella on this channel?
No, I'm talking about the back four. You talk about the defense, right? That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, Gusto, I think this season, I think he's taken a bit of time to adapt to this new thing of inverting. It looks like, I think more so, because when he actually was just doing defensive work against Liverpool in the second half, he actually looked a lot better. You know what I mean? Because he was just doing what he was doing under Pochettino, which is just defending 1v1, which I thought he looked a lot more competent on. I think Badi Ishul, he's really just fallen off a cliff. Disasi has a lot of weaknesses. I think Fofana, he's a mixed potato. So it's like, I don't know how much more can Maresca bring out of those guys, even if he gives them, that system, whatever you want to call it defensively, if that makes sense, right? So I don't know about you.
Yeah, so you're basically saying that where they are right now is their level just isn't going to be good enough to have a better defense, you mean? Yeah,
Yes,
I hear
exactly.
that. I just think there's been a couple of moments where on the second ball from set pieces, we've not been great, and a couple of set pieces we've not been great. And in moments against Liverpool, they were left slightly isolated, which I'm not sure whether that was the right thing to do or not. But you can look at Chelsea's recent matches. We've been letting in goals pretty much every game. and quite often we've let in 2, which is slightly frustrating. But I think most of it, I mean, that defense for me would look a lot better if they were more comfortable with their goalkeeper. And I just think every single
Sanchez,
game,
man,
Sanchez is a definite issue.
you know, it's just, you know, every time I'm just surprised why they still kept him, man. Like, I know obviously maybe they probably couldn't find any suitors for him, but it's just like, even when they brought in Jorgensen, I'm not a big fan of Jorgensen personally. You know, I felt like there was much better options out there for the same price or value of money you would be getting for Jorgensen. You know, in Chevalier from Lyon, you could have gotten him for the same price, or even Martin Bolka, what was it called, from Nice, who are I think much more better, a lot more balanced, and a lot more competent than Sanchez and Jorgensen. But you know, it's honestly for me, you know, that's one where I just look at and I'm like, we should have just, like, you know, accepted our losses on that one, on him.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ahmed. And the fact we spent 30 million on Jorgensen as well sort of suggests that maybe we're not 100% sold on him. And it also suggests, like, we've got that Mike Penders now. Maybe they're well aware that he isn't good enough, but maybe they believe right now he's the best option. I'm not actually sure.
The take I have of him is just like, I think can you get top 4 of Sanchez in goal? I think you probably can, but if you are trying to then go to the next step, you can't have him in the goal.
But look at all, say you look at probably Aston Villa, Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal, all the teams that are probably most favourite to finish above us. Every single one of them's got a very good goalkeeper.
Exactly, yeah.
And then Spurs, Vicario, susceptible, not great, and they've definitely got some defensive issues. So I wonder. I just think you need to have that level above Sanchez as a keeper, because that way, then I think you actually do get away with a slightly less experienced defense, because they're probably just not as shaky. Like, I think Sanchez made Levi Colwell and Tosin unstable at the weekend because they weren't sure what error he was going to make next. I mean, it was only the 18th minute when he was kicking the ball against Cody.
He just gave the ball away to
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Nottingham Forest,
it's great.
He kicked the ball at the Nottingham Forest player. They then worked out for a corner. He made a worldy save from that corner, but it should have never have been a corner if he'd have held on to possession.
Yeah. Yusuf. Thank you, Yusuf Habib from Egypt as well. Oh, we have people from Egypt.
Big up Egypt, man.
They don't know if I'm Egyptian, but fine. I think the Ahmed knows, of course. Ahmed Sulaiman knows. I don't think if Yusuf knows. Big up Habibi, he knows that I'm Egypt. Jackson is clear of Jota. Stats don't lie. Jackson 19 Premier League goals so far versus Jota 19 Premier League goals in the last 3 seasons. Also, availability is the best ability. That I'll give you. And Jota's injured a lot. Big up Habibi. An Egypt flag. Big up Yusuf Habibi. I actually agree with you, Yusuf, in terms of availability is the best ability, and Jackson has been available the majority of the time. But in terms of if you're gonna tell me you're gonna have Jota for a whole season or Jackson, I will still choose Jota. To be honest, I think he's more clinical than Jackson. I don't think Jackson is as clinical as Diego Jota. I think Diego Jota is the better player. I think Jackson can develop to be a very, very good player. I just don't think he is there, to be honest. I don't think he's there yet. That is my take on it. For some reason, Jackson is the same situation as Havertz. We keep saying they get goals. But if the team wants to take it to the next level, everyone would agree that Arsenal need a striker, right? Everyone? Clinical striker? Everyone agrees?
Yeah, probably do, don't they?
You guys hear it. It's the same thing.
You know what it is? I think it's because Haaland is setting the bar so high with how many goals he's able to output as one player on the pitch, that if you want to get anywhere near City's potential output, most of the time one good striker isn't going to be enough. You almost need to have 2. I wonder whether
you just need a good front line, bro. You just see the whole front line scoring.
That's what I mean. I wondered whether or not other teams in like the chase impact towards Manchester City would have debated playing 2 strikers to try and match Erling Haaland's output, but it doesn't look like they're going to. And they're just obviously going to have to try and just hope that results do it rather
this
than
notion that Jackson has been better than Kai Havertz is like, where is that coming from?
I mean, I think it's a fair point.
You guys know that Havertz in 2024 has the same GA as freaking Haaland. Where is this coming from? Why?
Is that the same as
That's
the
an actual fact, bro. That's an actual fact.
non-pen goals? Are we sure? Because like I can double check that one.
GA, Kai Havertz, same as Haaland in 2024, the highest.
How much
It's
is
actually
that?
a fact.
Yeah, it is,
Apart
it
from,
is.
I think that's before last game.
I mean, 2024 Havertz has been unbelievable. It's not even comparable.
I'm
to the
gonna
Havertz
check
we
it.
had at
It's very
Chelsea.
simple. Let me absolutely check it. But I'm sure I checked it. Come on now. I'm sure I checked it.
Yeah, but while
No,
Voight is
I
checking,
think you're right, Mo. I think Havertz this year, if you're talking about January till the end of October, has been fantastic. He's been
It's
so
not been
good.
fantastic. It's been good. It's not been
I don't know, Mo.
fantastic.
I think for Kai Havertz, this is the best form he's ever had in his life.
yeah.
No, the
I'll be honest.
Leverkusen, of course. The
I
Leverkusen.
don't know. Is this not better?
I think it's
No, the
better than
Leverkusen was much better, bro.
Was it?
Yeah. The difference is not only does numbers. At Leverkusen, he used to be the go-to guy on the pitch in terms of creativity, dribbling, and everything. That's why Chelsea
but
paid
he
the
was
money.
at Leverkusen.
remember?
He's now at Arsenal in the Premier League. Leverkusen wasn't
Yeah,
Xabi
but
Alonso's
that's what I
Leverkusen
mean.
when he was there.
It wasn't that Leverkusen weren't that. They were in the Champions League, but Havertz. The problem is some people just can't accept it. That Havertz has been all right for Arsenal. He's improved. From Chelsea, he just can't.
He's
Some people
improved
just
for sure.
can't
Like, yeah, I think anyone that's denying that he's improved is lying to you, bro. Like he's 100% improved. Like you can't
non-penalty
deny that.
GA. Here you go. Non-penalty GA in 2024 alongside Haaland. Actually, that was the thing. 19 non-penalty GA, him and Haaland in 2024, which is big. It's not easy to do that because that means you're in course to get like 38 or something like Palmer last season, who had what 38 GA. That's including
Havertz doesn't
penalties.
take penalties, no.
No.
Interesting.
Saka, isn't it? Saka or like Odegaard.
Yeah, you're right. Ahmed, how important obviously we've got Newcastle, which is a tough game, but they've not been in great form. If we don't win that game, right, because our home form's not been great, how important?
What do you mean? Say that again. I'm sorry. I want to say that again.
Me?
Can you see? I didn't hear the question. Sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say how important. Like we've got Newcastle at the weekend, right? If we don't beat Newcastle because our home form's not been great, we've been tested obviously by Palace. We didn't get that win. We didn't beat Forest. We haven't beat Manchester City. We've not looked amazing at home in every fixture we've played there. If we don't win that game, do you think there'll be some early panickers on Maresca or not?
That's a good question.
Asking the tough questions.
That's a good question.
I just wonder because some people overreact, like they go over the top and be like, "Oh, Chelsea can win the league."
People are reacting to the Liverpool
league.
You know what I mean? I thought people were reacting to us losing to Liverpool, which I think which I thought was a bit too much in my personal opinion. I think if we lose to Newcastle, I do think there's going to be a bit of an overreaction coming. I can see it happening. I'll be honest, because then it'll be like back-to-back losses.
Really? You really think so?
I could see these people going.
Does it matter the way you perform or it doesn't?
Irregardless of how we perform, I'm being serious.
Really? Has nothing to do with you pinning Newcastle back, one counter attack, they score a goal, Isak. Because I don't think your quality. I don't think your quality. By the way, I don't think your quality is as good as Newcastle in some areas of the game, especially the forward line, goalkeeper.
I think forward line wise, barring Isak, I think Gordon hasn't been that great this season. If you've actually watched him play,
Gordon would definitely start for. Gordon would start for you, bro.
Yeah, he would.
I don't know, man. In terms of output,
see, Ahmed, that's what people hate sometimes about. These are the opinions that people hate.
Listen, I'm just saying output.
When they're like, "Oh no, I would take my players."
No, in terms of current form, I actually think in terms of current form, no. But like, I think Harvey Barnes is a good player. Let's not get that twisted. But I think
I like Harvey Barnes. I think it's better than Marcus Rashford. They've got a bit of
an issue there, haven't they, with Harvey Barnes and Gordon? Because they're both adamant that they want to play the same position.
Adamant. You're absolutely right.
Yeah,
no one wants to. That's why Jacob Murphy starts.
Yes.
Yeah, I was saying that. I genuinely reckon Chelsea should sniff around Harvey Barnes.
You know, I always liked Harvey Barnes until I watched him live. You guys know that. I always liked Harvey Barnes until I watched him live. MK Dons versus Leicester, right? And I'm like, you sometimes a donkey, bro. You make some donkey decisions. Bro, I was watching the game He would choose to dribble instead of passing. He would choose to pass instead of dribbling when he's isolated to the fullback. To play MK Dons and he can't take on the fullback. But he was still coming back from injury, to be honest.
Wait,
You know that
some
injury.
people in the chat are saying Gordon over Sancho and Neto. Are you mad? Wait, what? Are we having this debate? Really? Like, don't get me wrong. When Tuchel
Hold on. Say that again. People think that Sancho and Neto are better than Gordon.
That's what I think people are saying in the chat.
I think anybody that says that needs to be banned. But
yeah, I'm not sure I would have that, to be honest with you, especially not for output. Like Neto's scored like 11 goals in his 100 professional games, I think.
I think currently though, Sanchez. Well, what has he got right now?
3 assists.
Sanchez got. I know Sanchez got 3 assists, but like I don't know what Gordon's got in Newcastle so far. But like, again,
do you remember when we were linked with Anthony Gordon under Tuchel? I'll hold my hands up, right? I was like, I do not want Anthony Gordon.
One thing I will say, yeah, like, we need to stop
50 million or something.
You know what we need to start doing, Dan? We need to stop questioning, these guys when it comes to their scouting, bro. Because like,
well, this is a whole. No, that was Thomas. Was that not Thomas Tuchel that wanted?
Oh, it was actually the date.
And we got Sterling instead. Now look at it now, man.
Tuchel wanted Sterling, and the board were trying to bring in Gordon for 60 million. And and like again, this is something I will say. Like I feel like our scouting currently has become so good. I think it's actually improved. Yeah, in terms of like the players they actually having their eyes on and looking to bring in. That I feel like I have to stop questioning whoever they say, because like already right now he's doing really well for the Duran. We know what he's doing right now in the league.
Really?
It's like Already is actually doing quite well for I don't know if you watched
a few goals, hasn't he?
Bro, he's been scoring quite a lot of goals in for what's it called, Porter, bro. I can't lie to you, man. He's making Gyökeres look a bit suspect, man. He's making that's what I'm saying. But you know, for me, again, Newcastle, I could see back-to-back losses bringing an overreaction, bro. Like guaranteed, man.
Back-to-back losses. What do you mean?
So it would be back-to-back losses. It would be
I'm just gonna tell you. Do you know if you do back-to-back losses? Do you know what is gonna happen, right? You know you're gonna be like 9th in the table.
That's what I'm saying to you. So
and then we'll
and then what are the conversation?
United the week after.
Guys, I'm telling you, if you lose, hold on, you play Newcastle at home,
Manchester United away,
and then Arsenal at home,
and then Arsenal at home. Yeah.
Yes.
If you don't win one of the 3 games, bro, you draw, you do nothing. If you collect like 3 points, I think it's panic station, my guy. You know why? I can't sit and analyze Chelsea. It's our job. Like I do content, right? I can't sit and analyze Chelsea and keep talking about performances, right? In a season like this, after you spend that much money and got all these players and got the new manager without results, I will not be dragged into the conversation about, but the performances are good. But we played good against Newcastle, Liverpool, or Arsenal. You can't have that. You guys know that, right? With the investments that happened at the club, the results need to come in.
Newcastle are beatable this season. Their form has not been great. I think they've got 1 win in their last 5. They lost to Brighton, who we beat comfortably. Although Brighton definitely gave Spurs a better game. So, look, if Chelsea lose to Newcastle, that'll be a surprise loss for me. As difficult as that
I agree.
I just think we've got enough. But obviously, you never know what.
At least you're going to win against Noah in the middle. Then that's very, very important.
We've got a Newcastle double header, Mo. We've got Newcastle at the weekend, and then we actually travel up to St James's Park in the League Cup to play them again in the space of like 3-4 days.
Yeah, but listen, I honestly, bro, I think we'll beat Newcastle. I think I actually think it might be a bit more comfortable than I think a lot of people are imagining. I could see it being a 3-1 in my personal opinion. So that's what I'm saying.
Do you know, for Newcastle, do you know who I think's looked really poor, where I think Chelsea should be targeting, is Shah. Shah got absolutely rinsed on a 1-2 by Danny Welbeck. He's looked incredibly slow. I don't know how old he is, but for me,
I think Shah's in his 30s, no? I thought Shah was in his 30s.
Yeah,
he's
maybe.
Quite an old player.
That would be one of the biggest weaknesses. So,
You've got Jackson there.
Does Eddie Howe get sacked if he loses, though? Like, they're not doing great, are they, Newcastle? So
no,
what do you mean?
Well, Newcastle are 9th, right? And they're not doing great, and they're obviously incredibly
12 points. They got 1 win, they can jump to 5th.
But Mo, this is a team that we were talking about getting top 4 if
but they fucked up. The owners, the PSR fucked them up. They
A
fucked
little
them
bit,
up.
yeah. But if you look at their team, it's still not a bad side. It's still
It's
got
not
Isak,
great.
it's still got Anthony Gordon, it's got Tonali, it's got Joelinton, Bruno. It's got a number of players that you'd value in and around 100 million.
Yeah, but the problem is when you start the season and some games you start Emil Kraft and Dan Burn as your both center backs, you're fucked. You're done, bro. You're done. It's over. Bro, Lewis Hall, I know a lot of people rate him. I think he's all right. If he
been
was
better
that good,
recently.
Chelsea wouldn't have sold him. He has been good in the last 2-3 games, but he was making mistakes after mistakes after mistakes. In the beginning, he's so rash. He still needs experience. Kelly, the guy that they signed from Bournemouth, if I'm not mistaken, he's all right as well. But he's not like top 4 material, you know what I mean? Like, he's not. Livramento's good. People are like, oh my God, Livramento's this, Livramento's that. He's all right as well. He's not like, maybe he has the potential to be great, but I'll pick like 8 right backs or 7 right backs better than him this season, right? So that is the problem with Newcastle. I don't rate Bruno Guimaraes just myself. I rate him good. I don't rate him that high as people do. Longstaff has started a lot of games. Joao Linton is back. Tonali's back. I don't rate Tonali that high. Isak, like, they should have been allowed to invest a little bit in the summer, just weren't. They weren't allowed to invest, so I'm not going to fault them, to be honest. Yusuf here is saying, I rate Jackson, but we need another top striker. We used to have a Drogba, Torres, Etic, all in the same squad, and it wasn't the issue. Our standards have dropped.
We had a
Anybody
Nelka
wanna
as well
comment
at
on
that time.
Mhm.
I remember
And,
that Champions League final, 2008. Drogba, Anelka, Kalu. Who else?
That was it.
Well, we had
Those are-
Drogba and Shevchenko for a period of time as well.
yeah.
No,
Didn't really
Shevchenko
work
was
out for
dog
Sheva,
shit
though,
when he
did it?
joined
You reckon
Chelsea.
even
He
had-
was
I heard
dog
someone
shit.
say-
Malouda in
Chris-
2008 as well.
Crespo was there at one point in time, if I'm not mistaken, with Drogba. At one point
Yeah,
in time.
Sturridge obviously won the Champions League with us as well.
Yeah,
So
Sturridge.
he
It was
wasn't
a
quite the level he
2012
was
team.
when
And
we
he
went
won
to
the
Liverpool.
league. I think Sturridge won the league of us.
Yeah, probably did win the. Yeah. But I saw a thing the other day saying that Shevchenko's quite easily the biggest flop the Premier League has ever seen.
Lukaku.
I'm not sure,
No.
mate. Sheva won
Well,
the Ballon d'Or,
That signing of Lukaku to you, I think is the biggest flop ever.
but it
ever.
wasn't purely
With the
on ability,
price.
was it? It was like ability-wise, he performed. He just basically down tools. Whereas Andrei Shevchenko,
Lukaku.
But the thing is, Dan, bro,
I'm
it's
trying to
just that
find
You know,
it,
if
right?
it wasn't
Price
for
tag, is it?
Fernando Torres, if it wasn't for Torres' goal against Barcelona, we would have been sitting here and saying he flopped massively at Chelsea as well. Come on. That one on
Big up
one.
Remy, by the way, man. Big up Loic Remy. I remember another guy that used to have Loic
Luke
Remy.
Remy is crazy.
Shevchenko
He
played.
scored a lot of goals for
40
us, off the bench. Big up to him, man.
Shevchenko played 48 Premier League games and got 9 goals for a striker that won the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah, that's crazy,
Wasn't
actually.
this amazing reading. Like when we signed, you got to think how hyped that was when we signed him. This was a guy off the back of like winning Champions Leagues, no?
Yeah, he won the 2005 Champions League and the 2003 Champions League, actually. Sorry, the 7. He won the 7
Yeah,
and the
2007.
3.
So we
7
signed
and
him as
3.
a Champions League winner. And
Didn't he win
it
the
obviously-
Shevchenko? He won the 03 as well. Didn't
probably.
he?
I think he did.
It's funny, isn't it? Chelsea signed another Ukrainian flop all these years later as well.
He only
Doesn't
won.
seem-
Yeah, he won 2 champions. No, he actually, he left in 2007. It was Gilardino. He didn't play in the 2007. He left
really?
before that. It was Gilardino.
Oh yeah,
And
we probably
Inzaghi
had
at
him
that
in
final.
07 thinking about it actually with
Mhm.
Ballack. Yeah, that's probably
Yeah,
right.
you had him on 07. But he won a
so-
lot. Yeah, but that's the thing, Yusuf. You're right a little bit. You might need. You know what the problem is? I don't understand this Chelsea fans that don't like Nkunku, in my opinion. I just don't get it. Nkunku coming to Chelsea was the marquee signing. Was supposed to be the marquee signing. And then somehow Enzo Maresca doesn't rate the guy as much. I don't know why, though.
I think the issue you have is that, I think the winger that he wants on the right wing, right, in terms of like the tight wing he wants, I don't think he wants the type of play that Palmer is doing, right? So he probably is in a dilemma of choosing between Nkunku and Palmer over in the middle. But because Nkunku's not played all season and Palmer's like flourished so much, it's put him in a position where I don't know whether to use Nkunku anymore, if that makes sense. Like, if I'm going to use Nkunku, I have to push Palmer to the right. But Palmer's not the type of winger that I like to use at the very least. So that's the issue that he's having at the very least.
I think Nkunku's biggest problem was his injuries. And I think we
Yes,
probably don't. I'm not sure that we signed Cole Palmer if Nkunku would have been maintaining his fitness. I think if Nkunku didn't get that injury against Dortmund in pre-season last year, I'm not sure we make the Cole Palmer signing. And then ultimately, Cole Palmer then doesn't get the trajectory. It's like, what they call it, a butterfly effect. And then I think actually now, when you look at Maresca's system, he's obviously not a left winger. I don't think he's the out-and-out 9. I think he probably is a 10, but he's not going to take Cole Palmer's position. I wonder whether the only way to get Nkunku in the team is to play 3 at the back and remove a fullback. That's kind of what I looked at. If you, as much as Mo might like this actually, because he's not a fan of Cucurella, but if you went with a back 3 that included Reece James as one of the central centre-backs, because he's pretty much playing there when the fullback inverts, you could potentially just play a secondary 10 as Nkunku, and then you'd have Lavia and Caicedo in the midfield. There's
no place for Palmer in that formation.
Yeah, there is. There is. There's a 4, obviously, of Palmer and Nkunku, Lavia, Caicedo. And then you'd have Neto, Jackson, and Madueke, probably. And then you'd have Levi Colwell, Fofana, Reece James.
Okay, that lineup has 3 at the back. Colwell, Fofana.
Yeah, but we inverted. Okay, look at against Liverpool, right?
You can't do that. That's too offensive for formation.
But we inverted Gusto against Liverpool, and he was picking the ball up in that 10 area where we know Nkunku would do a far better job. And ultimately, he was having to make a recovery run, but there's no reason why you can't sort of ask the defense to shift over or someone cover from midfield if it's really needed. And ultimately, you can be flexible, like with your tactics.
I wouldn't do it this way at all.
But I just wondered if that's the way to get Nkunku in. I've said that a couple of times. You know,
the problem with people,
I
think the problem is you don't have wing backs, and you don't have, like, if you play Caicedo and Lavia and you play Palmer as 3, and then you play 3 up, so you play 3 and then you play in the middle Caicedo, Lavia, right, and Palmer. Is that what you want to do? And then 2 strikers.
I'm saying it would be that would probably look more like a box midfield, to be honest with you, with Lavia and Caicedo as a pivot, and then you'd have 2 10s in Nkunku and Palmer,
and 3 up top.
No, then you just have Jackson up top, and then you've got 2 wingers.
Yeah. Okay. So that's.
I think Manchester City have done that.
5 attackers and 5 defenders.
Have Man City not done that with?
You're not Man City. I don't think your players are capable like
did
Man City.
City not do that? Maybe not this season, or not even last. Maybe
in the treble season they did that. In the treble season.
Yeah. Oh, is that?
I don't think you're capable of doing this.
I don't know.
That's too offensive. You know, that's 5 people to defend, 5 people to attack. You'll get ripped apart on the sides.
No, 5 people to defend sounds like good enough numbers to me.
Absolutely.
We played against Liverpool with 3 left 3 people.
No. I don't think you get my point. 5 people to defend only at any given time. Because you have 2 wingers, a striker, and Nkunku and Palmer. That is not how football works. You will get ripped apart.
Wait. There's more than one way to play football, Mo. Football can work with a long ball rather than putting the ball on the floor.
But you aren't.
Manchester City use that system and won a treble.
You're gonna have 5 players not defending at all the time. You can't do that.
Yeah, but is a back 3 of Levi
with 0 defensive duties? How is that even gonna work?
Who has 0 defensive duties?
2 wingers, a striker.
No, that's not true though, is it? Those wingers don't have 0 defensive duties. They'll have to track back. We'd probably drop into a 4-4-2 without the ball.
I don't think you can do that at all. You did.
Manchester City.
Hold on.
Did that
Okay, hold on. Okay, let me hear that. You are saying that you're gonna play off the ball 5 at the back with the 2 guys, the wingers dropping as wing backs, like what Inter does.
No. They're not
like a Moses and an Alonso.
No, not quite. No.
The thing is, like,
I think you're looking.
Bro, this is
Their role isn't going to change. I actually don't think the structure of the team changes all that much because when we're in possession, where you have to go and look at the footage of where Gusto was occupying the space against Liverpool. That is the exact space that a number 10 could operate in.
Okay, the problem every transition on you is a 3-on-3 or a 4-on-4 or a 2.
Well, it was against Liverpool. It was against Liverpool.
Wow, I think that's very dangerous. By the way,
I think it's a risk versus reward strategy. But Pep Guardiola did that. Obviously,
you want to put 5 attackers on the pitch, flat out attackers.
Why not?
Brazil,
because Nkunku is clearly
let's run it. Brazil 1950. Let's run it. Brazil 1950, 1982.
No,
Brazil.
I don't think it's quite on that level. No. I don't think it's quite on that level, but I do think if Lavia's fitness holds up, Lavia and Caicedo as a midfield is definitely dynamic enough to do that.
Bro, you want to play? You want to put on the pitch Palmer and listen. I applaud the courage, bro. I applaud it. I
think the only thing I think people are showing in the comments, by the way, that they haven't watched the game. But what I would say is, you obviously would have. I'm not sure who would cover in the back four.
Can you say the lineup again? Reece James, Fofana, Colwell, Caicedo, Lavia. Caicedo, Lavia, and then Palmer and Nkunku. Jackson. This is what I have. Fofana.
Yeah, okay, but I'm just trying to think of Manchester City. They had Haaland. Probably Grealish,
let's put the lineup. Let's put the lineup. Forget Man City. Forget Man City. We're gonna put Fofana, Colwell, Reece James, who is a 50-50 fullback / center back. He's not flat out.
Well, he's playing,
which is fine. We play Pavard
against Liverpool.
Play Pavard
as a right back.
We play. You know, we have a very similar player to Reece James. We play Pavard, who's a right back, as a right center back actually at Inter. So we put Reece James, Fofana, Colwell. Lavia, Caicedo, and then from there on, we're playing Nkunku, Jackson, Palmer, Madueke, and Sancho. All right. Let's try it. Let's run it. Panathinaikos,
I would love to see that. I would love to see if that works.
But no Palmer there.
I think that gets all of Chelsea's best players on that. That gets every single one of Chelsea's best players on
100%. I agree. By the way, I agree with this. However, I would just completely change it. Actually, I'll play Malo Gusto on the right wing.
Right, defensively, I think in the back four, which would have to happen is probably one of the midfielders would have to then drop into a 4, or the fullbacks would have to come even deeper, which I don't think would work. One of the midfielders would have to drop back, and either Levi Colwell or Reece James would have to shift out to be a fullback in defence. If that makes sense, I think it would be Reece. So you'd probably then end up with Fofana, Levi Colwell. I'm not sure who would cover the left. Maybe go the other way. Levi Colwell out towards the left. Didn't really work last season, though. But then you'd have Fofana and then someone dropping at 7. I'm not sure how it works. But look, there's teams.
I'm just glad you don't coach Chelsea.
There's teams in the Premier League that I would love to try that against. And I think we'd have success.
Yeah, which is similar to that online. There's FM similar. Let's do that.
I'm just glad that he's not coaching Chelsea.
Yeah, this is it, right? This Yersin actually just said.
Let me put the comment up then. It's fine. Which comment is now?
I'm just reading it. We defend 4-4-2 compact as everybody does in the defense.
We defend 4-4-2 compact as everyone does.
I don't know when. Yeah, that's what I mean. And Nkunku obviously isn't going to go left back, so you have to work it out. But I genuinely think there are teams in the Premier League I would love to play 2 10s against and just see what happens. I just think it's worth the risk when we've got the attacking like riches that we do.
The only way you do the 2 10s is you actually play 4 defenders at the back.
Mm-hmm.
Who would that be though? That's
would be Reece James, Fofana, Colwell, Cucurella, but they stay at the back and you play one DM, and you play one DM, and then you play the 2 10s.
Cucurella allows it to happen way more smoother, but you can't. If Lavia's fit, I don't think you can not have him in the side.
And also, your wingers have to work very, very hard to cover the 3 guys that will always stay at the top.
They're doing that because they are already playing in formation. They're playing exactly that when they're on the ball. They are playing.
The problem for me is always okay. Here is my problem with all these formations: 3-5-2s, whatever the box midfield that City played, is that in transition, and we saw Jack Grealish and Bernardo Silva when Man City lost the ball. And sometimes the difference is Man City lose the ball way far less than you. Like your players aren't Man City. Your coach isn't Pep. Pep coaches the team to keep the ball at any cost. We're only going to lose the ball to a goal kick or a free kick. We aren't going to lose the ball. No team is allowed as much to get the ball from Man City and go on attack. It has to be a stop ball, a free kick or a goal.
I thought the discussion was about Nkunku and how you get him into the team.
Yeah, but the problem is
So
every time you lose the ball, every time
option.
someone makes a miss pass, every time you're in attack, and sometimes someone makes a miss pass, it's a dangerous chance.
Yeah, but that's
Every
what
time.
happened against Liverpool. We did that against Liverpool. And people were praising the performance. So you could go back and watch the Liverpool game. We literally sat there in that exact formation when we had the ball. It was just Gusto was occupying that 8.5, 10 row.
You know what I've got? You know what I will say? You know what I will say, boys? I don't think we need to see this in FM Simulator. I think that will simulate it for us perfectly. And then if it works there,
in a what?
Try it in real life.
Simulator. Let me do this.
What?
Tony here is saying stats-wise, he's better at Arsenal than Leverkusen. But at Leverkusen, he was unbelievable on the eye. People forget he was Wirtz before Wirtz. He was that guy for them. And that's why Chelsea went and spent 65 million pounds on him, or 70 million pounds. Havertz was the go-to guy, Tony. You're 100% right. That's actually spot on. It's not only about the stats. Sometimes you'll have to look at the player and how that player was the go-to guy on the pitch. It is not only about delivery at the end. He was that guy, Tony. And guys, can we listen to Luke and get to 200 likes? Of over 300 people, 300 people here. Let's get to 200 likes. Hit that like button underneath your live chat, people. Come on now. Nasser, big up Nasser. Mo Jackson has more goals and assists than Havertz. Havertz scored penalties last season. This season, he has more goals and assists, and he had AFCON. Okay, but hold on. In 2024, I'm not saying Jackson is a mug. In 2024, Kai Havertz has more GA than Jackson. Am I wrong? Can someone correct me? Non-penalty GA. Havertz don't take penalties for Arsenal at all. Why is this? Non-penalty GA.
No, I think you only took it like once last season, right? Like to help him.
Okay, so Nasser, I'm gonna say this. Nasser, again, you're putting this statement out. What you're saying is that Jackson is better than Havertz. That's what you're saying. Okay, you know what? I'm about this, khalas. And I'm from now on when I do YouTube, when you put a stat out, I need the statement after the stat. Like someone came yesterday and said, Haaland bypassed Neymar in the Champions League goals. Okay, what are you saying then? Okay, what's that next sentence? You're putting that fact out. Are you saying he's better? So, no, sir, are you saying that Jackson is better than Kai Havertz? That's what I want to hear. If that's the case, it's your opinion.
Muy interesante.
It's your opinion, by the way. I just don't think that at this time he is. I'm going to fill in the blanks, as James is saying. Okay, then. I'm filling in the blanks, as James is saying. So Jackson is better. Fine. I still think that Chelsea need, in this January transfer window, go get this Osimhen guy, bro. Just play the Osimhen. Pay the money, bro. Guaranteed.
What happens to Jackson then, Mo? Like, are we going to be happy having him?
He's still going to play. He's still going to play. He's still going to play.
How do you play Osimhen and Jackson together?
Subs, minutes, manage minutes. You have abundance of games.
Then the problem becomes that Nkunku goes down further in the pecking order, no?
I'm going to tell you the difference. I actually think, and let me just do this to respect Nasser Subja. He had AFCON, that's why, but since last season, Jackson has more GA. Okay, fair enough then. You're saying that yes, I think that since the beginning of last season until this moment, Nasser, if I'm not mistaken, I think you're right. Jackson has had one more GA than Kai Havertz, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. I'm going to tell you the problem with Nkunku. To be honest. I don't think your manager wants him to play. He doesn't want him. I don't think he appreciates him that much like we do.
No, because
there is something.
play, he'd be in the team. He'd be
Thank
finding
you.
a way to start him, right?
No, he's given him. I actually believe he's given him petty minutes, or when shit hits the fans and he has to do like an offensive sub. Otherwise, he wouldn't let Nkunku play if things are going according to his plan. I don't know why I have this feeling that Nkunku does something that he doesn't like. You know, like Amad Diallo for Man United. We all see Amad Diallo is good. He's not that bad. He has the talent. But he would rather shift Rashford, shift Garnacho, put Bruno on the right than play Ahmad. He just doesn't like him. For some reason, I don't know what is the reason. I'm not in the training sessions. Maybe someone that is connected to the team can let us know. I have the feeling like Dan. If he rated Nkunku that high, he would have found a way to at least give him some games or something. But he doesn't. And I don't know why. Like, the talent is there. I don't know. Bro, the guy would rather play Felix in the 10 than Nkunku. I guarantee you that's what he would do. Right? You guys agree? And I don't know what is the reason. I have no idea what the reason is.
Nkunku is a striker. He's just seen. I think for me, I said this before. He bases a 10 that is like a secondary striker, like a shadow striker, as I always say. That's basically what Nkunku should be right now. But the problem is, he's got Palmer there. He's then playing Felix there. Like, I thought it would be the other way around. Maybe Felix would be the striker, and then you play.
Same. Felix would be the false 9, right? If you want
that's what I
why is happening here?
That's what I was thinking, bro. Like,
bro, he played Felix on the right wing a couple of games, and I'm like, listen, I'm not saying he's bad. I'm just saying, like, what is he doing?
The thing with Felix, because he's like,
I can't see the vision, bro. I can't see the vision. I don't know if anyone sees the vision with these 8 attackers, bro. There's a vision from Maresca's head. I don't see the vision. What is the vision?
I honestly, I'm not sure what it is with Nkunku, to be honest with you, because nothing springs to mind of why he wouldn't want him in. I just wonder whether there's too much squad congestion for the potential roles that he could play, or whether or not the position where he thrives just doesn't exist in this system.
Maybe he's just really competition. I just think he's just like, you've got so many players. It really just comes out of competition, bro. There's a lot of players in this position. Like, he really needs to rely on someone having a stinker, and then him being either really good in training or in the Carabao Cup fixture or like the Conference League fixture they just producing. That's what this comes down to, bro. I'll be real.
I'll be really disappointed, right, if come January or end of the season and Nkunku leaves, because I'll feel like that's a failure on all parts. Because I think Chelsea fans can see the ability that Nkunku has. I just think he's obviously not found the way to establish himself in a team. I mean, his injuries obviously haven't helped, but I think he'll be at a Champions League team by the end of the season if his sort of minutes don't improve.
Nasser is saying spot on, Mo. He wants Jackson to stretch. I actually believe it's not. It might be the other way around as well, which is I actually sit down in another show. I actually think they want Jackson to work so hard that is taken away from Nkunku's chances. He has so much faith in Jackson, and I see it. He has so much faith in Jackson that is taken away from Nkunku's role in the team. Does that make sense? Like, Jackson is the youngster. He signed a long-term contract. You know what I mean? They want him to work. He believes in Jackson's ability to become that guy for them. That's why he's given him the chance more than Nkunku. He decided, you are the number one. You're my number one guy. You're the go-to guy. I'm working with you to get you better. Because we all say, I bet every Chelsea fan and everyone thinks Nkunku's the better player. No one thinks otherwise. But Maresca insists on working with Jackson instead of Nkunku. That is the thing. President Jafar, should we integrate a Shimpong, is that his name, over Reece James?
I think the Champong situation is really interesting, because I think in terms of a pathway, I feel like he does have a pathway that, like, listen, I don't want to wish injury on anyone, but we know Reece James is a really injury-prone player. Gusto has had his time every now and then to be injured. I think Champong actually had like a really good chance of like getting a really good run of games this season, in my personal opinion. But obviously, I think the one thing though, I will give kind of credit to the club is they've stuck with, if you've got 2 years left in the deal, you either sign a new contract to us or we keep it pushing. And like that's one thing, you got I have to respect about it. Like, you got to respect the club in the sense of like they have their red line. It's not up to obviously maybe if the player wants to be here or not, and if they can't, they will facilitate a move for him. So I know it's and like again, I just think for me, I know it's a bit harsh, obviously, but if that's their sticking line, I think it makes sense at the very least. You don't want to let these guys go for free. So I hear it, to be honest.
I don't know like about this guy, to be honest. I don't know about this guy. Ahmed Sulaiman is an as if they believe in him and gave him a 9-year contract to reflect that. That's Jackson. Yes, Ahmed. Probably that is the case. Listen, people.
Oh,
It's been a
you
brilliant...
kind of say before you go, Maria. You were
Yeah,
talking about PR. Yeah, I think this like Fabrizio just came out saying Nicolas Jackson has been voted the best Senegalese player playing abroad for 23-24. So you're just talking about PR.
Talk about PR.
Yeah, I mean, so well, I'll just give you that up a little bit.
No, I actually think there is gonna be quotes and statements being pushed for Jackson in the next like months to just back this choice of like it's 9-year contract. You're the main striker. We didn't sign HUSAM. We didn't break the bank. We're here for it. You're gonna be one of the best strikers in the league. And watch, he's gonna be pushed as one of the best forwards in the league soon. And Chelsea are gonna come out. If you want Jackson, it's 100 million now.
Though, man.
You know what I mean, bro? You watch this.
But Mo,
there's gonna be a Chelsea journalist coming out and said Jackson's price now is 100 million. You want Jackson's 100 million?
How much?
But Mo, let's be realistic, Mo. Yeah, look at the guys that he was being. I said this before. When they were comparing him to Højlund, which is kind of disrespectful. Xerxes, disrespectful. My personal.
How much did Højlund
Darwin Nunes? All these guys. You know what I mean? But like,
Havertz 65, like he's doing better than what those players were doing when they were bought. So I think
is he actually one of the best strikers in the league, as Blaze is saying?
Currently top 5, yes. I think he's in the top 5 probably. In the league, he's top 5.
Probably is.
I can't name 5 better strikers than him, just honestly.
So
not in the Prem, I can't.
Not in the Prem, I can't.
Not in the Prem, like,
you're right. I can't.
Yeah, see.
So actually I can't. Even him and Havertz, it's a conversation. Like I hear 2 arguments and I'll be all right with both arguments. He's definitely Isak, Haaland. Does he have more to his game than Erling Haaland?
He has more to his game in the current system.
As a complete forward, yeah.
I think Erling Haaland at Dortmund, by the way, was a completely different player to the Erling Haaland we see at City. I think he actually now almost gets I'm not going to say underrated because they consider him to be one of the best players in the world, but probably underappreciated for what Erling Haaland can actually do with a football.
Do you know what it is?
Can I ask you a question? Would you guys swap Jackson for Duran now?
For Duran? No, not for Duran.
Okay, hold on. People in the chat, answer this. Would you swap Jackson today for Duran?
No,
today?
I can't do that. No,
Duran's not even.
Even though Duran is clinical, yeah, I just think. Yeah,
I would have. I now probably, with hindsight, look back at when we were linked with Duran in the summer and think he would have been a fantastic substitute striker because he's proven that he's doing that.
Would have been a great competition, bro. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah, he would have been.
He would have given Jackson a real one for his money.
I think the better question is, right? Would you swap Jackson for Ollie Watkins?
Wow.
I think that is more of a debate. I probably think that's probably closer. Ollie Watkins is a good player. He's a good player.
I like Ollie Watkins, bro. I like Ollie Watkins.
Because I feel like they both do similar things to one.
Is Watkins better than Jackson?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think in terms of scoring, yes. In terms of scoring, you have to say yes. Yeah. I want to actually bring back to the Haaland point. I feel like, Haaland at City, yeah, he's like what I like to describe, yeah. He's become like the 75 overall, like in terms of every other like stat, except of shooting, which is like 99. Like whereas at Dortmund, he had the really high shooting range, but like everything else, like he had to do a bit of everything else. What was it called? At Dortmund, like the running, the ability to move, to run at the ball, to dribble. But at City, I don't think he needs to do that, bro. It's like we're just playing the ball to get to you, to put into the net. Really, that's all you have to do. Just shoot. He has like one action that you just need to like actually do.
And he has far less space to operate in now than he did at Dortmund. You know, like
Exactly.
Manchester City, they've registered like the most long shots or long shot goals this season because they literally suffocate teams so far back into their own half. Haaland has such a small area to operate in. So, no, I think Jackson is definitely improving. I don't think he was even in the debate with the top 5 strikers at this point last season or even up until January. I don't think. It was only after the AFCON that he really sort of started to move to another level, I think.
We're gonna end the show on one question to both guys. I think this has been an amazing show. I enjoyed myself. If you have a 3-year contract on the table today, just a 3-year contract on the table today,
Okay.
would you offer that contract to Madueke or Mohamed Salah? Just a 3-year contract.
Salah, in a heartbeat. I'd
People
pick,
in the
you know
chat
what?
answer this.
Mo, I would,
If you have a 3-year contract on the table, Salah is 32.
this is what I would do, Mo,
Madueke
right?
is 22.
I don't care.
You have
32,
a 3-year contract today.
Yep.
Would you give it to Salah or Madueke?
I would put out the pen. I would undo it for him, and I'd say, Mohammed, write down however much you want to be paid. It's a blank check. I don't care. If you bankrupt me, I don't care. Mohamed Salah over Madueke is not even up for debate. Even if Mohamed Salah is 35 years old at the end of that contract, and we've spent $1 billion in wages, I wouldn't care. Because Mohamed Salah walks away over Premier League. I'll be like, look, I'm so sorry that it never worked out with you first time round. Let's make amends for that. It's not even up for debate. Salah at 35.
Watch the chat and you will know the debate. You will know the debate.
Salah at 35 will still be in like unbelievable shape. He'll still be able to play at the highest level.
Watch Ahmed and you will know it's a debate.
The problem is,
don't hide because there are. We can get clips. We can get clips.
You know my issue. You know
we can get clips.
I know.
What are we doing here? What are we doing?
No. Let me see.
The question is Salah or Madueke for the next 3
worry
years.
I have. Listen. You know, listen. Like the worry I have here is this. Yeah, even I want to give Zach Salah the contract, but like the worry I'm having in the back of my mind is, let's say I give him the contract, right? And then what happened essentially to Arsenal Sterling happens with Salah, if that makes sense. Where he has that.
No.
Yeah.
Did you see that? See that? Did you know now why I asked the question?
See, that's the worry I have.
Understand
bro.
now, Dan?
That's the worry.
Because Madueke, what's the most amount of goals he scored in a season? Like 5, 6?
Currently, he's on his highest right now. I think 4. No.
Right. So that's
Well,
3 in
that's
one
shame.
game.
So
3
far
in one
this
game.
Yeah.
3 in one game against the awful Premier League side in Wolves, and 1 goal in another game. I genuinely think Mohamed Salah in 3 seasons would score a minimum of 30 Premier League goals, maybe even 40.
30 only.
Well, I think
30.
just because, Mo, you have to admit that as you get to 35, there might be injuries that creep in, and
For some reason, he's getting better.
look, if he
watched him this season, he's getting better.
if I know, right?
This is the worry for me. I think.
I think it's probably fair to say. I think what we're seeing from Salah this season is actually an improvement away from just being an efficiency monster. I actually think that pass he played the other day was something I don't remember seeing in his game too often.
He's doing that like most games, then.
Yeah,
that's the problem now.
I genuinely think if you gave him a 3-year deal now at the end of this contract for Liverpool, he would do like unbelievable numbers that Madueke wouldn't even get close to. In 3 years, he wouldn't.
Man. I don't know.
He wouldn't. Even if Madueke,
That's why people like you, Ahmed.
Mo,
That's why
hear me
people
out on
like
this,
you,
right?
Ahmed.
If Madueke,
I'm just thinking about the future, bro. You know what I mean? I'm scared, like, you know,
yeah, but
the whole
3 years,
the whole
3
coming,
years
bro.
is.
But like, come
3
on, Dan,
years
you
is-
have to realize it. I'm sure Chat has to realize, bro. Listen, every player is not going to be this consistent. There's going to be like a fall off that's going to happen, bro. Like,
I haven't seen it since the day Salah
Wait,
joined
it
Liverpool.
fall off,
but it's going to happen.
Okay, well, maybe Madueke's being consistent with 5 goals a season. Do you know
No,
what I mean?
but I'm not
What
even
happens if he
saying-
falls off?
For me, it's not.
No, what I'm
that.
and no, I believe Madueke will get better than that. But even if listen to this, right? Even if Madueke takes 2 seasons to hit 20 goals a season, right, and he gets there in 2 years, even then he probably still would have only got like 25 to 30 goals. Salah, if Salah continues at his usual rate for the next 3 seasons, he'll score you 60 goals. Like Madueke wouldn't even get close, and he could have a 20 goal a season year.
I'm going to tell
in
you
one of
something,
those.
Ahmed. Salah in the next 3 years, if he signs for Chelsea and he plays in this offensive Chelsea team with Lavia Caicedo to cover his asses in the back, he doesn't need to work as hard, blah, blah, blah. He'll give you at least 70 GA over 3 seasons. 70 GA over 3 seasons, bro. It's just the number is crazy, right? But Salah has done this season every season, bro. 20 plus GA every season.
I don't deny that he's done that. I just, the worry in my back of the mind is there is gonna be the drop off. It's coming. But the thing for me is, I have to assess, is the drop off he's gonna have, and what I believe Madueke is gonna hopefully become, comparable. Does that make sense? Like that's what I have to think.
Hear me out on this. Genuinely, next season.
That's what you have to. That's what you have to think about, bro.
Next season, there is a chance Madueke loses spot. Literally next season.
19 years old.
I'll be honest, he could, but the thing is, the 19, because I'll be honest, man, that Estaval is like
because if Newcastle United are in desperate need of a right winger, if they put a £60 million bid in for Madueke and Chelsea double their money on him, I genuinely believe Chelsea would consider selling him because they have Pedro Neto and Estaval who would be able to cover that position, and Palmer if you need. I genuinely believe they would consider selling Madueke.
I think
I'd rate him very highly.
I think Madueke has got more seasons at Chelsea. I think this season, obviously, and then the next season after. I don't think they're going to throw Estaval into the deep end straight away. I actually think they're going to give Estaval a lot of time to actually acclimatise to the league, because otherwise he's just going to be throwing Estaval into the to the walls. So I doubt that will happen to him. Excuse me, but I just think listen, I know people would be saying this bring it out, and I think that's a fair point. I just think for me personally, it's about, you need to assess the level of risk you're taking in it. So he's not dropped off yet. I'm assessing that risk to be quite high for me personally. So that's why currently I'm gonna have to give it to Madueke. And a lot of people might not like me saying that, but listen, I think it's gonna have to be Madueke for me personally.
We'll see. Listen, people. It's not even my man said Madueke. Okay, you know what the problem is? People in the chat, Mo, you ask these questions to cause these things. Literally, I have 2 panelists. One said Salah, one said Madueke. So that means I got to ask the right question. If we split opinions, that means the question is valid.
Mo, did chat answer that? Have chat said
Madueke. A lot of Chelsea fans say Madueke.
No.
A lot of
people are saying Salah as well.
I
get what a lot of people say Salah.
I need to see this with my own eyes. Let's do a poll.
No, Paul, just guys, answer the question. Madueke, 3-year contract. 3 year, just hold on. People need to understand the question. End of the season, you have a 3-year contract today, and you're going to give it to either Madueke for 3 years. Don't give me resale value, nothing. There is a 3-year contract. Salah or Madueke contract, 3 years. Salah will be 36 at the end of the contract. Madueke will be 25. Very simple. Salah. A lot of people say Salah.
I just think I just listen. I don't think again. I'm not denying Salah's. I'm not denying Salah's skill, everything like that. You have to think about it. Again.
Do you know what? If Mo did a poll, right? If Mo did a poll, it would be
99%.
99% Salah, and then
Salah. And Ahmed is the one who's gonna vote Madueke.
I'm just listen. I'm just saying, guys. We had Sterling previously, and again, I'm not saying Salah is Sterling.
Stop comparing Salah to Sterling. That's disrespectful to every single Egyptian on this platform.
It's not. I'm not being disrespectful. I'm just using example of guys who are really consistent, guys who are producing a high amount of goals and assists, right? But then what happened when they went to a next step to the next club, right? For the new contract. There was a considerable drop off from what they had. That's what I'm saying. That's the worry I have, bro.
Sterling's consistency isn't even comparable to Mohamed Salah's.
I'm not saying but the reason why they were pretty. He was pretty consistent.
I don't know.
JJ's asking why not Palmer or Salah? I might give it to Palmer. That is a good question, but I might get the reason why, because I believe Palmer might improve a lot to be equal maybe to Mohamed Salah. Mohamed Salah at the age of 35. Cole Palmer at the age of 24 might be better than Mohamed Salah at the age of 34. So that is a conversation, but that's for a different day, people.
Mo, the
Huh?
real question is for the Arsenal fans. You should do it with them for Saka and Salah when you do an Arsenal show.
Saka.
Yeah.
Like, I would give it to Saka. Like, if you're asking me in the next 3 years, would you give the 3-year contract to Salah or Saka? I might choose Saka. I might. It's a conversation, but I think that's fantastic, actually. But I think all Arsenal fans will say Saka 100%. But listen, people, this has been a great show. These two guys are, their channels are in the description. Ahmed is doing a watch along for Chelsea. I am doing a watch along for Chelsea, actually, on this channel for some reason.
You're a very competitive picture, you know. A lot of people don't understand, man. The Greek crowds, man, different gravy, man. Different gravy,
I'm
man.
not gonna do it because I was gonna watch the game. I was gonna watch the game anyway, so I thought, why not do a watch along? I don't do watch alongs often.
Not
I'm just
for
gonna
United.
enjoy myself.
You're not doing one for Mourinho, yeah.
Why would I want to watch myself when I can watch Saeed do a watch along on United Bridge? Why would I want to? Why would I want to watch the entertainment, bro? Why would I want to watch the entertainment and watch
You reckon
Saeed while
is
Man
Saeed
United?
there right now, just making his biryani, just getting ready? Like,
Why would I want to do this? Listen, people, don't go anywhere here. Hit that like, guys. Really, 30 likes away from 200. This has been a shambolic show in terms of the conversion rate. Jackson last season conversion rate in terms of likes. We need 200 likes now, guys. 200 likes now before we leave, guys. The like button's underneath the live chat. Don't go anywhere. HUSAM has Northside and has Vator. They're discussing the title race. Stay here. Don't go anywhere. And we'll see you guys soon. We're out of here, people.